Hey guys, what's up? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Sword Art Online Alicization War of Underworld, which is on episode 7. It's called Prince of Hell, obviously. Anyways, this episode right here, it kind of got me a little confused of what really happened here, but at the same time, after doing some research and looking into things carefully and finding some resources and certain links, which I will post in the description down below, and I will talk about it after the recap, So if anything else, let's just get this started. We have to it that Fasago, or the guy called POH whatsoever, we have to it that he was trying to wake Kirito up like, hey, what the hell are you doing, huh? Are you really the guy that's a black swordsman whatsoever? And he was like tormenting the guy physically, man. Like, he was literally like taking the sword that belonged to Yujiro, throws it aside, and he picks up he picks up Kirito, and he was about to damage him or slice him up with the weapon he has, But we have to it that someone shows up, and it looks like Klein realizes the guy is called AG. Now, I know you guys might be thinking, okay, who is this AG guy? Okay, well, I'll get to that after this recap, because right now, if I explain it now, it'll just be very, very confusing, and all I can really tell you, if you guys heard about Ordinal Scale, that movie may look like it's filler, but it has maybe an important role in it. Not to mention there's some other stuff involved why AG is here. I'll tell you guys about it once I finish the recap, okay? Okay, AG shows up, takes on POH or Fasago, and we have two that Yuna shows up and ends up singing, and everyone's like, oh, this is Yuna, are you kidding me? Who is this guy? And we have two that POH or Fasago or Prince of Hell, which is a name that was given to which he named himself long time ago, which I will get into just a moment, We have two that AG fights the Prince of Hell or Fasago, while Yuna shows up and sings, and everyone's like, oh, is this girl Yuna? Holy crap, I didn't know that was her, that kind of thing. As the episode continues on, we have to it that we get to see a backstory about the Prince of Hell or Fasago. We have to it that this guy we get to know the reason why he hates Japanese people, which is really stupid at the same time, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just gone local, but humanity has a variety of things of how things are done. But going on into his backstory, we have to it that he is born into a mother where she seems to see him as a devil, and his father, who hasn't seen him for years, tells him, oh, I need your help, If you don't help me out, I can't help your mother out. And we have to it that he needs a kidney donation or a kidney donor, whatever the case may be. And we have to it that eventually, when Fasago looks at the kid that his father has with, he realizes that he ends up hating him, maybe because that father of his that's related to him or something actually loves him much more than him alone, which is really messed up. And I guess his view of maybe hating Japanese people ends up like that. And when he heard about something about SAO being very dangerous, he ended up stealing a Nerf gear of his own, and he could kill all kinds of Japanese players, that kind of thing. And eventually he will call himself Prince of Hell, but he decides to shorten it by calling himself POH, And he calls himself that after his mother calls him a devil spawn. And going back to the fight scene with AG against Fasago or POH or Prince of Hell, they do end up clashing equally or on par with each other. And of course, AG calls himself Nautilus of the Red Blood Knight's Oath, But later on, as the episode continues on, even though Nautilus or AG did his best to fight against the Prince of Hell or POH, he will later have both his arms cut off, but he will still show resistance to the end by managing to give a bite to his neck before he gets slashed one more time. And Yuna will later on comfort him as he did everything he can to help out, Eventually, someone ends up realizing that the guy is the Laughing Coffin, and he actually had that kind of symbol, and realizes, oh my gosh, this guy's a serial killer. And all of a sudden, this guy, the Prince of Hell or Fasago, ends up managing to somehow use some kind of dangerous aura and have everyone kill each other, even his own allies. I'm like, what the hell? How's that even work exactly, And he tells Kirito or the Black Swordsman, hey, hello, you want to wake up very soon? Because if you keep lying there, everyone's gonna die. Hello. He was even mocking him in a certain way, telling him to wake up. And we get to see a scene with like Shinon having to take on like Gabriel, or should I say Vector, the Vector guy or something. And we have to it that she actually was on par with him, but you know, with the amount of bullets she only has left, she only had 7. While the other guy, he had a couple more bullets left, and he manages to actually shoot down 2 of Shinon's legs, and she falls down and apologizes to Kirito. Then we go to another scene where Suguha, or Lifa, ends up fighting an army of red men herself, despite having grievous wounds and a spear to the eye and getting stabbed so many times and using her like healing powers to keep herself afloat or something. She eventually decides not to continue to keep fighting no matter what, along with Shinon, who apparently gets protection from Kirito again, which from that same object. And we have to her, she uses part of her soul or power in order to like make one last shot and manages to actually wound Gabriel, or should I say like Vector, to a point where he actually has one arm and he has part of half his face, or the right side of his face at least on this side, all cut up or burnt up. I mean, not cut up, burnt up. And he later on decides to leave whatsoever, while Lifa, she manages to hold off for now. And we have to it that Rinko manages to show up in time to save Higa and manages to scare, Yamai-san, and he ends up falling to his death, which I go, okay, go ahead. Not like I give a about him, because he wasn't important. He was a pervert and a pathetic minor antagonist that's not even that important to the role of the story. We had to that Higa and Rinko ends up having a little small talk with each other, and Higa asks Rinko, hey, you want to go on a date with me after this? She goes like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll buy you some beef balls, a burger, whatsoever. And he goes like, oh man, what a cheap date whatsoever. He even lies that he's okay, but not really okay, because he got shot and he's bloodied up, you know, and on his arm, and he's losing a lot of blood each second. And of course, he ends up using the power, he ends up using Lifa and Asuna and Shinon to actually help out Kirito's soul repair, you know? And we have to it that Yujiro will later on come out of the sword as a soul, I guess, and says, alright man, it's time for you to wake up, bro. And he ends up walking to Kirito, and Kirito's body in the underworld ends up lighting up in a yellow light, and he goes like, what is this? Is this some kind of dream whatsoever? And we have to it that, like, the episode ends off there, and preview the next episode, I believe it's called Memories or something? I'm pretty sure it's called Memories. Let me check one more time. Yeah, next episode is called Memories. So, yeah. So, overall, I could really tell you is that, like, in this overall simple recap without a lot of details I've given you, all I could really say is that Eiji shows up, fights Fasago off, or Prince of Hell, and we get to know the backstory about Prince of Hell and why he hates the Japanese people, which sounds a little stupid at the same time, but I don't know, I guess human variety at its finest, I guess. And Eiji tries to hold up against the Prince of Hell as best he can before freaking like the Prince of Hell decides to use some kind of aura or power of his and make everyone kill each other somehow. I'm like, how the hell does that work again? Yeah, I guess this is one of those reasons why SAO is called SAO in a very low quality sense. Call me Mr. Milanakis stupid for saying that, but hey, just nitpicking and picking out, telling you what's up. Okay, now I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys might be thinking, who is this Eiji? Who is this Yuna person? Like, who the hell are they? Now, I know a lot of you guys are very confused, etc. Even if I were to not be kept up with a lot of things by now, I would be very confused as well. You may not realize it, but if you guys noticed a long time ago, like in 2017, around February at most, if I remember correctly, since that movie was released, Ordinal Scale was released by that time, around 2017. I heard about the movie, I was going to go watch it in the movie theaters, but I go like, you know what, I changed my mind, I didn't have much time, or I had a lot of things in my mind in life, and yeah. That movie actually has a role to play in the SAO storyline, and that's why Eiji and Yuna is there. I will not give any spoilers out here because we're not talking about Ordinal Scale. Not to mention, there's also an after story which actually is very connected to, which I will give a link in the description below. You should check it out to understand what's going on, because like I didn't know there was an after story about this too. I mean, I did a little research, but I guess it didn't give me a lot of full detail story until I decided to look into it today. So yeah. I'll put the links in the description below for you guys to take a look, and like I said, if you have not watched Ordinal Scale before Alicization, you're going to be confused as hell why AJ and Yuna are here. But at the same time, there was also, like I said, an after story of that for Ordinal Scale, which I will post in the link description down below of this guy explaining it. It just premiered like about 19-20 hours ago, which the guy actually made it on. So like I said, you guys need to take a look at that. I'll put the link in the description below. I give credit to the guy to actually give a lot of details of what happened in here. So yeah, the reason why AG and Yuna are here in the underworld and why it looks a little confusing since it's not really well known, So like I said, I'll post in the links in the description below about Ordinal Scale that you should take a look at, and then guarantee you gotta watch the movie. I mean, in terms of action, music, and animation quality, it's really slick. And there's an after story for that too. So until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. So I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace out. Bye bye. Toot toot.